Welcome back. It's Sports Talk. Echo's here.
It's a beautiful morning. Always glad to be here.
Let's get started, and we'll start in basketball, where Nigerian representatives, First Bank Basketball Club, will end their campaign at the 2025 African Women Basketball League in 10th place as the competition concludes on Saturday in Egypt. Ebo, the Elephant Girls of Nigeria, the Lagos-based side, is challenging for group stage campaign. Losing their first two games looks difficult now.
Of course, it looks very difficult. They themselves tried against the Cameroonian counterpart, but
Kenyan counterparts from Kenya, Mozambique as well.
Yeah, they lost to Kenya, lost to Mozambique. They won the last game against Cameroon, and it shows that I'm sure that maybe that fright, when you play your first two games, it can be very difficult, but they played with resilience, and the hope of qualifying becomes very difficult. I mean, so for them, it's an experience. I just wish that subsequently they can, make out for these lapses. But when you are sharing an experience for the first time and exposure is not there, it can be very difficult.
In the final, we should be seeing the host side, the Maputo Basketball Club, up against Ahali of Egypt.
Yeah, Ahali is a big name. They are the hosts, and expectedly you think that with the way they are playing so far, they are invincible so far in their group. They qualified, and I think that it will be very difficult for the Maputo girls because yes, they did so well in the group where they stayed with Nigeria. But I just think that one thing will be going in for them, for the other leaguers, because they are the hosts and they possibly might get to this one. It's been a wonderful time getting to see basketball activities at the continental level.
Meanwhile, we'll go to basketball now, where the Athletics Integrity Unit has clarified that the Athletic Federation of Nigeria must submit credible, very contemporaneous documents to establish the true dates of birth of 17 athletes flagged up for age discrepancies. Nigeria back into the news for very wrong reasons, if you ask me.
As I said, I'm not tired. I'm not tired of things like this, The Athletic Integrity Unit have said that because of the discrepancies, the petition has been written. And they're they're investigating that petition.
How will the same federation submit different documents bearing indicating age of the athletes used during the period?
Yeah, because that's what athletes have submitted, and that's because of the malpractice in the system. So you go for one event, or you go for
one competition, you enroll with different
document altogether. They go for another one again, they submit something different again. So before you know it, you have 3, 4, 5 document from one athlete showing the discrepancies in the age level. And so the Athletic Integrity is saying that go back to school, go back to when they were born, go get the original certificate. That is what we want to work with, and that's the only way we can clear this thing. So instead of Nigeria, they are even lenient with us because this is not good at all for our image. But they have given suggestion why they frown at what is going on in Nigeria. They too have also given suggestion. This is what we want. The only certificate we want to see is that from the birth certificate when they were born and when they were in school, when they were in universities. Those records must be table before us. That's the record we want to get. Any other one is no longer for it.
Athletics Integrity Unit definitely will fault Nigeria in this one, if you ask me, because the document discrepancies are just too many. The discrepancies they are given as record given when they were in school, and of course, I say the identification cards bearing some of these bogus names and of dates with the national identity card, and of course, like you mentioned, university registration as well, looking different from what is being used for various competition which these athletes has competed in. And for me, it looks very disturbing because there is a department, the federation, that should be taking care of this thing, or that should cross-check before they are submitted. Do you haphazardly just submit, documents, or let's say information relating to athletes, based on the whims and caprices of the athlete or the federation?
I think it's a systemic problem here. A systemic problem, and that's why everybody do have an interest, and that's why all these things are coming. We have the office of athletes development and records in the AFN, where every activity of the athletes is enshrined. The documentation in each competition, but we have a competition record and competition where you submit as to go. The state submit everything they want to go for any competition at all. Those things are submitted. So when those records do not tally, so we take a lot of things for granted. if somebody is paying for this, or someone is held responsible for this, bad image that we have created for ourselves, I think subsequently we don't get to see things like this, because everybody will be thorough. You talk about NIM, a lot of initiative before now, but I don't think that is correct, because there's no outlets that cannot get his true age. But that we condone some of these malpractices, and look at how it has come to haunt us. This is a very, very ugly one. I just hope that they will comply with the mandate of the IAU. Otherwise, heavy sanction awaits. But I just hope, like they have said. But when thing that is come out, the AFM will come out and they will shout more. They won't allow you to even express yourself, and because they think they know more. And the challenge is rubbing on our image. They don't see what we are seeing, and it's very unfortunate, because just this year alone we've had more than 5 issues coming from the AFN. Why is this so? I just think that there's a systematic link, and it needs to be the NSC board needs to come into this to ensure that this thing does not continue.
National Sports Commission, supervisory body for the federations here in Nigeria, will have to only, like Epo said, recheck activities of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, especially relates to documents submitted about athletes for various competition, because this is going very embarrassing for the country, Nigeria. From athletics, let's go to boxing, where two-time world champion of WBC world #1 heavyweight contender Lawrence Okolie will make his historic professional debut on African soil, April, as he aligns the chaos in the ring against Ghanaian boxer, what's his name now, powerhouse Ebenezer Tete. What do you make of these two boxers, April? The blockbuster event is set for this Sunday, next Sunday, right, at the festival grounds here in Lagos.
It promises to be a big one. We've heard about this for a very long time, and I think that it truly goes to its expectation. For me, I want to see Okolie, display. It's more like his home, so arguably anything less than victory would be a devastating one, because a lot of people would truly want to see how this one will pan out. And also the promotion has been very fantastic. It doesn't matter how we look at it. One thing very outstanding is that we're going to see some of these big games come to the continent of Africa. Nigeria precisely to hosting this particular one, and Nigeria has shown strong penchant when it comes to boxing activities in the continent.
Talking about Nigeria, Okolie, he's had 2 victories in the 2 different categories. Could this be a third category for him? And he's not based here in Nigeria. He's actually London-based, but then he represents at least he was born in Nigeria. He's born to Nigerian parents, but based outside of Nigeria.
Yes, and that's what makes. Okolie is a known name. He's played undercard to some of the big boxers and some of the weight categories, and I think that at 33 he has a lot going on for himself already, and I'm not going to be surprised. But then take for granted from Ebenezer Teta. Ebenezer Teta is also a veteran when it comes to knocking down opponents. He has a very good power shot, and you have to be wary of such opponents. I just hope that this one will be good. He's had good times with the British star like Dillian White. So when you see big names like this coming together to fight, you know that everything is very possible. I'm just hoping that it will not end the other way around. At least as a Nigerian, we'll rally around him, even if he's not a full-blooded Nigerian. But I just want to see a good fight on the day.
This will definitely determine the ranking of these boxers, right?
Yeah, it will. It will, and it will also enhance. Their visit. Next year is coming very close, and these boxers want to have good fights. So this fight will also, bring them up to speed with some of the desire of fighting big names in the system already.
Well, there is a fear of a knockout in this bout.
There's fear of
people believe that the Ghanaian has a knockout history.
Yes, he has, because he has knocked out Tony Yoka, some time ago, and that's another good one for him. That's a very good one.
He has had about 11 fights end on knockout basis.
And so when you have a player like that fighting, he has 14 wins and knockouts. He has lost those 3 times in his career. He has won 14 times, and out of that 14, 11 of those 14 are knockouts. So, Okolie needs to really be at his best, to get a shot from this guy.
Let's quickly go to the next story, and it has to do with Portugal returning back to the Formula One circuit. We know that they've been denied of this purpose because of COVID, if you remember, and now it looks like Formula One drivers will be back to Portugal again.
Yes, and I think that it's just a replacement for the Dutch Grand Prix. So usually Zandvoort hosts the Dutch Grand Prix, but for next year, we'll not get to see it at all because Portimao will not be the host of this particular one, and it's lovely to get to see how far that will go. And it's interesting too because the European cities and countries are really, getting into Formula One activities, and I do not know how they are going to blend all of this because this year alone we have close to about 22 Grand Prix, and it's becoming very worrisome because although there were enough breaks, no doubt, but I think that the drivers will be in for it. It's promising to be exciting. Let's see how the Portimao has been out for some time now. Let's see how the renewed version of the Portimao 2026 will be like since he's replacing the Dutch Grand Prix.
Talking about the Portuguese Grand Prix returning back to Formula One circuit in the days ahead, it reminds me of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, of course, did set record in Formula One at that Grand Prix. Remember taking over from Michael Schumacher as the man with the most titles, wins in Formula One. But now, do you see Lewis Hamilton returning to Portugal anymore soon?
It has not been fantastic. I mean, we have been extracting Hamilton's career. It looks like he's had a downturn. And I think that...
but this one should bring him memories. This is a place where he made...
Even the British Grand Prix, a lot of places where he's the ground that he has covered for some time. He has all lost them, to the McLaren guys and to the Red Bull Max Verstappen. And it's difficult to really predict the outcome of next year. Even when he's fighting in for Ferrari, he's been a shadow of himself. I mean, he's hardly had a podium finish this year. That's the worst in his career. So when you come talk about next season, well, will he be rejuvenated? Will something go right for them? I just keep a finger crossed. But then Portimao reminds him of the place where he broke, he surpassed the record of Michael Schumacher of 91. That Formula One races. How far he goes about this, how far he reminisces this, how far he prepares for this one. We just keep a finger crossed. But I tell you, Lewis Hamilton is no longer the Lewis Hamilton we knew 3-4 years ago.
Away from Formula One now, let's go to tennis, where the ATP will introduce an extreme heat rule from the 2026 season, which will allow players on the men's tour to take a 10-minute cooling break during best of 3 set singles matches. The rule is similar to the measures, if you remember, in the WTA, which governs women's professional tennis. They have actually brought in this rule more than 30 years ago to protect players from heat. Only now that the men are beginning to seek so-called or some kind of cooling effect as well. After 30 years, the women have been enjoying this rule.
Yes, and I think that this also allows that there's no direct sunlight, into this place. It gives them the welfare of players very paramount and important. We've seen sometimes, players will go and they will be sweating, somehow to abandon games, just because of the heat that comes from the arena, and it's not good at all. So the organizers of these competitions and the ATP have come together to say, okay, let's prioritize our players first, and that's the way the women have enjoyed this. It's good to see how far, and also to enhance games. I mean, no player plays under such a heightened, tough temperature and survives. So for me, I think it's a good one that we're getting to see this one now.
Talking about heat and temperature rise during tennis fixtures, if you have a heat temperature of about 31 degrees Celsius, definitely the player has it right now from next year to call for a heat break, 10 minutes of heat break, and a lot of things happen within this 10 minutes of heat break. I've seen coaches give instruction to players within the period under the guise of heat break, and they go give instructions, and of course, yes, they change clothes. They can even take their baths within the period, refresh. But the aspect of receiving, let's say, coaching instruction, especially when you're on the losing side, looks like aiding the athletes via some other means.
It depends. It depends. I mean, even in football, we've seen that several too. And I don't have a problem with coaches and sharing instruction and sharing some tactical knowledge with their players. It all boils down to how the rules is applied. And I think that the umpire, supervises the affairs of what happens on the court. One thing I know for sure is that 10 minutes is just way too big. But that 10 minutes just to say what will be happening. So it depends on the rules. If the rules allows the coaches to do that, and there's nothing wrong about it, we'll get to see how far. But then a lot to happen because we've seen a lot of drama. We have instances like this play out. Coaches try to you take opportunity of that water break to really, do this. But like I see, the WTA is the different thing altogether compared to the ATP. How this will go in the ATP will matters, but I know for sure that from next season, we're going to see how far these rules are applied, and let's see how the modalities too and the strategies to be used by the players and the coaches, to getting maximum result on the court.
Well, that will be it for this half of the show. We'll be ready back after a very short break, and when we return from a break, we'll take a look at the football, especially with the African Cup of Nations getting close. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have had a Nations Cup friendly, and of course, they've turned out to be on the losing side. We'll look at the team they played, and beyond that, we'll look at some other aspect of football where Nigeria right now will not be going to the FIFA World Cup next year in United States of America, Canada, and Mexico, but they are making a case against Congo DR, the African representative, via the playoff there, because Congo DR has been noted to have been accused of filing some ineligible players ahead of the competition. So, can Nigeria's complaint to FIFA see any light of the day? When we return from a break, we'll let you know. Welcome back. It's Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and we've been giving you latest happening around the world of sports. And time for us now to delve into football. And Epo is still here, and together we have to look at the issues that concerns after match 3 that have produced 5 away victories across the 2025-2026 Women Football League. Epo, it looks like Premiership heads into its final round just before the Christmas break. What chances do the teams have in the match day 4? Because we've seen a lot of drama, of course rivalry, and of course season statement that could spell a big one for the teams this midweek.
I think that the interesting thing about the match day 4 will be the derbys that we're going to see. 2 from the southwest, 1 from south-south, and out of the south-south we see Rivers Angels tackle Ibom Angels and Port Harcourt. Rivers Angels, you know them. A lot is already going in for them. They are yet to lose a game this season, and they look like a team that will go all out, you know, to getting that maximum win. For me, I can't wait to see how far this will play out. Remo Stars will take on Oshun Babes, and then for Remo Stars, I think they are fantastic. Oshun Babes, 2 newcomers. They want to also get something. Another derby that we're going to see, you know, is that one that concerns. I think it's Sunshine Queen versus Ahudi Nayem Queens. This one too is going to be another lovely encounter. So a lot of interesting showdown. For me, I want to really see something good from Rivers Angels. They should continue their winning stride. But though against a certain Edwin Okon side, it can be very tricky. But Rivers Angels look like a team that will be very difficult to draw point at home.
Talking about Edwin Okon, former coach of Rivers Angels as well, up against his former team. What do you make of it? I've spoken to him a couple of times, and does he have let's say affection for Rivers Angels? Would that translate on the pitch?
It does. No, I don't think it will translate, because the man at the helm of affairs of Rivers Angels is also another man who wants to win. You know, the coach is one man who loves to win, and he's very loud-mouthed. So when he speaks, he wants to keep to his promise, and so I think of seen the girls, and some of the girls too are new entrants, you know. Yes, they didn't do that massive overhauling like they did the last time, but they've seen some brilliance from some of the new entrants that came into the side, picking maximum points, scoring goals. And so in terms of goals, I think that we're going to get to see Rivers Angels living up to expectation if they do not, if they utilize their chances, because some of the problem is they miss chances. They have in their first game, they had the opportunity to get up to 7 goals, but somehow utilizing those chances becomes a very big barrier. So I'm just thinking that maybe we'll get to see that.
Well, let's hope that Rivers Angels will take advantage of playing at home to get the job done, because you need to claim a continental place, and it will determine to a large extent. Now, the African Cup of Nations is just a few days away, 21st of this month, and today is 16, right? And so we have barely 5 days to the African Cup of Nations. Nigerian Super Eagles are preparing, belatedly if you ask me, for the competition. Yesterday, there was an international friendly between Nigeria and Egypt ahead of the Nations Cup. 2 of this country, Egypt will be going to the Nations Cup. Nigeria will not be going, will be going and as well. And so they are preparing, you know, both teams are preparing. They ended 2-1. Eko, can you take a look at the players that were on showcase for Nigeria last night?
Some of the young lads, I mean, some of them who came early in that game, we saw, you know, Kevin Bassey, some of the guys, Bruno Imichi, they showed promises, but then you just know that the rules of coming, allowing European players to come from 16th, 15th, really hampered the team. I think what the Richard did was to see how far he can use some of the new call-ups to blend and see how far you can get a result. It was not the mainstay. I don't think it looks like the main first 11 where you get to see Osimhen and all that. No, that was not what we saw yesterday. And it became very difficult for them to get a win in that particular one. But then they played to that satisfaction, if not for the brilliance, you know, from the Egypt national team.
Talking about Egyptian national team, they are one of the teams tipped to win the Nations Cup. What do you make of their performance?
They've not won the Nations Cup for years now. And the last time they won it was back to back, and it's been difficult for them too to win. Mo Salah, since he emerged as a top player at this level, he has not won the African Cup of Nations. So that tells you that Egypt are not going to let anything slide in that quest to getting one for Mo Salah. They've won 7 times, you know, the African Cup of Nations, and that tells you how big it can be for them. It's a competitive trophy, but then they also have qualified for the World Cup, you know, and that also is interesting. But let's see what they will make of this particular one. But this win, certainly, against Nigeria, will really motivate them because no matter how you look at it, whether you say it is official or unofficial, Egypt has recorded a win against Nigeria, and they hope that on Monday, when they start their campaign, they were able to get something from that particular one and then move on.
Well, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are not having a very good preparation, if you ask me. It's been multiple chaos in the team. But let's hope that the theory that when you don't expect anything from the Super Eagles, that's when they perform so higher. Will that be on showcase Echo vis-a-vis the Egyptian national side as well? There has been a poor form, law for Mohamed Salah, the king of the Pharaohs.
Mo Salah has never been very fantastic for the home side. He has never been. And I don't know how that will play now. But it's even more difficult because those times he plays for the national team, he's always on fire for Liverpool. Now bring it now. Will he be motivated by not by his performance at his club that has made him to the bench by Arne Slot? Or maybe he will be motivated. He's the captain of the side. A lot is at stake, and I tell you, he needs to show his prowess at the continent. Maybe do so well that when you go back to the club, you will not be overlooked. Just maybe I'm just thinking in that direction. But Mo Salah is a respected god in the Pharaoh setup, and you cannot take that away. And for Nigeria, yes, I agree with you. There's a theory that states that sometimes when you expect less from them, they do so well. Especially in the last AFCON when nobody gave a chance to Justo Pesero. Look at what transpired. And when we gave a chance to Gabon 2 few years ago, they stumbled upon Tunisia and that was it. So I don't know, but it depends on the first game that we played. The first game will matter a lot for Nigeria. If we get to win that game, then motivations will be high. I trust Nigerians. The moment Nigeria wins 2 of their group matches, we're already in for the finals. We're already winners of the AFCON. That morale just naturally will come in.
Well, let's hope that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will really give us some kind of respectable performance at the Nations Cup. But with the coach of the side not being paid for a couple of months and players having some kind of lethargy, especially for not qualifying for the FIFA World Cup, it looks like the morale of the team is not very good, but that's what it is. Talking about the Nations Cup and the FIFA World Cup coming up, the Nigerian Football Federation has entered into the news, this time for protesting, or rather filing a complaint to FIFA about the eligibility of about 6 to 9 Congolese players that will be going into the final playoff games March next year. Super Eagles, remember, lost 4-3 to the Congolese national team, and that's heading into the playoff. And now they are thinking that if FIFA can, approve of this complaint of their file now, then they could replace Congo, in the playoff. But for me, that looks like Will of the Whips is neither here nor there. What is the issue here, Ekpo? They are saying 6 to 9 players have dual nationality. Congolese law says you cannot have dual nationality representing the country. But FIFA law says you have to present a passport of your representative nation, which Congo did. They presented a passport of these players. Yes, they have dual nationality, but FIFA is not Congo. If you are maybe filing a complaint to Congo, understandable. But for me, it looks like the Nigerian Football Federation is waking up too late and involving themselves in what will not yield results at the end of the day, because FIFA only acts on documents presented to it, and those documents are authentic.
Yeah, it's laughable and funny. We think that this is South Africa, where the pressure was too much that they had to, that gave us a leeway to get into the qualifications. This is not South Africa. Yes, that was a mistake. Mistake in the sense that at the time when the players switched their allegiance, they did not follow all the processes in terms of the legal processes involved in their switching nationality. The Congo law is very simple. But then if you look at it from that premise, if there is a clause in FIFA's citizenship status for you to be eligible or eligibility provisions, if there is a law that stipulates that this is what you do, then there will be a problem for maybe they will entertain this case. But if there's no provision outlining clearly that you have to go through the clarification from your country, the legal rights for you to be a citizen of the country before even presenting a passport to FIFA. Then FIFA will act on its own conventions, its own status, and that is where the person are thinking. FIFA will not want to entertain anything that will breach the image they have already created. DR Congo has already been paired with other teams that will play in the intercontinental playoffs. So this cry for Nigeria will only result, the highest it will result is a sanction, fines and penalty, but the penalty may not extend to be them being disqualified for Nigeria to come in. I don't think so, because in the field of play they merited to have qualified. So I just wish that although one thing like this rises, for the sake of precedent, FIFA might entertain it to investigate further, but I don't think that if it comes in tandem with its constitution or bylaws or status, then there's a problem, because FIFA will look at which one comes first, and FIFA law comes first.
Win on the pitch, not in the boardroom. What do you think, Epo?
I agree with you. It's noise making, but I think that the laws are the laws. That's where I just feel that Nigeria should exercise those laws, so that some year it will not look like it was overlooked, becoming a normal convention of players bypassing their country and just going to FIFA because this is what the FIFA rule says. But for me, I still believe that Nigeria do not merit to be in the World Cup. But then them, if they have something against DR Congo for the purpose of transparency and credibility of the game and for future precedents, or past precedent not to be set by Congo, I think that FIFA needs to look into its veracity and then see if punishment can be met, but not punishment that will warrant them not playing in the World Cup if they duly qualify.
Well, but for Congo, what are they thinking? It's just they want to go to the World Cup. It doesn't matter. So their constitution is being breached.
The idea is not a good one for them. It's a bad one, because sometimes I remember when Wan-Bissaka, Wan-Bissaka was preparing for allegiance, so switch allegiance, his nationality, and you have not given up on your previous nationality. You need to fine tune with the legal status. So what they want to do is also get those players, play for them, and later on maybe get to see how far. But it doesn't work that way. If you're a DR Congo, a DRC, you are. If you're not a DRC, you're not a DRC, and that's the only clause that might affect them in this case.
Well, our fingers are crossed, but I really do not expect anything to come out in favor of Nigeria in this one. It's not only Nigeria has filed out this report. Earlier, Cameroon FA did file same report about these Congolese players to FIFA. Remember, it was the same Congo DR that eliminated the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. And
I think that when something happens twice, that will not be, it will not drag attention to really look at it. And don't forget, Nigeria is a very strong name when it comes to international football. So somehow, they will drag the matter, and even if FIFA ordinarily did not want to entertain it, FIFA will have to have no choice but to entertain it and look at its merit.
Well, FIFA in the days, from what we're hearing, they are claiming that they act on information submitted to them and not going to look at the constitution of the respective countries. And I'm sure nothing much will come out of this one. But our fingers are crossed. In the days ahead, we'll see. FIFA World Cup comes up in June next year in Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America. But first, the Congolese DR will have to go past Macedonia and Jamaica, to qualify for the FIFA World Cup via the playoff route. Now, let's get to, this is December, right? A season of awards. Players have been awarded for their performances in the course of the year. And for 2026, France and Paris Saint-Germain attacker Ousmane Dembele has won the men's FIFA Best Award at a ceremony conducted in Qatar last night. We saw Ousmane Dembele, emerge as FIFA Best Player.
Merits, even if the Ballon d'Or seems to be more acclaimed than the FIFA Best Award. A lot of person even got to know that FIFA Best Awards was yesterday. I was watching it live from my home, and it's interesting. Yamal couldn't have won it because it's about voting. The man who wins the Ballon d'Or have a very strong chance of winning the FIFA Best Award because the voting is always almost the same. So I just think that for the he won 4 trophies last season. You cannot deny him of such a competitive award.
So many awards were on showcase last night. Paris Saint-Germain manager Louis Enrique won one. Coach of the year,
manager of the year, And I think that it's also truly deserving. When you win the Champions League, it's not easy at all. It doesn't come cheap to win this particular one. And I think that with what he's done with his side, he also won 4 trophy with his side. So there's equal chances of. As you see, the award was also dominated by some of the players from Paris Saint-Germain, and I think that is good. The same thing for Boame and Tana from Spain, winning the female version of the award for the FIFA best. And it tells that if you win the Ballon d'Or, if you've had a very glorious career, season, and nothing stopping you from getting it.
Well, there are several awards. We'll bring you details of all of the winners on our program Sports Extraordinary coming out at 6 p.m. Nigerian time. But we have to wrap up the show now. But are you a Chelsea Football Club fan? Chelsea is now into the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Last night, they were 3-1 winners at Echo.
They are 3-1 winners, and I think that it's good for them. It's good for their confidence. I love the way they came back into that encounter. It wasn't easy. The goals are flattering, but Chelsea showed dominance in that encounter yesterday.
And how did I forget it? Paris Saint-Germain have been asked to pay $70 million to Kylian Mbappe as part of unpaid wages and bonuses. That now the authorities are there saying that PSG must pay that money to Louis Enrique. I'm sorry. Kylian Mbappe. I
was very happy when I got this news because I think that is long overdue. PSG, they are just playing panky, and I know that they cannot go anywhere. This is one man who obeyed the contract, stick to it, and then you intentionally refused because you wanted him to be pressurized to sign, but you pressured him to sign against his will. I think that that fine is they're even lucky that other areas of fine. Mbappe was just strictly on his payment of salary and debt owed him. If he pressed more charges against them, they would have paid for it because what PSG did that time was truly not good at all for a brand like PSG. But I'm happy that Mbappe truly deserves to pay that money. 70
million in addition to the quantum money he earns from Real Madrid. The kid cannot stop but smile very much. Meanwhile, we have to end up this program for this hour, but former Liverpool coach is now in Saudi Arabia. Remember him, Rogers Epo?
Brendan Rodgers, yes. I think he's gotten a club. He also went with 2 of his assistants. But when you play for Saudi Arabia clubs are just maybe just want to have some lovely times there. And I know he will pay good money, but I would have still expected that he stay within the European circle. For him, maybe he's just tired, he just want to be there. Sometimes he just want to coach, and it's a good job for him because if it's on the payment, he will well paid there.
Well, if you're looking for money in football, then head towards Saudi Arabia. If you don't know, then you need to ask someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's earning a lot of money there. The coaches too are making a lot of money. But the man you see on your screen, the former coach of Liverpool, has just joined Quensa FC Football Club of Saudi Arabia. And that will be it for this edition of Sports Talk. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Nigerian time for Sports Extraordinary. Until then, remember, peace and unity are clearly pathways to progress. Always enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network.